With the Russian ruble falling below its critical level, causing a massive 350 basis point rate hike, and China reporting a huge miss on its macroeconomic report, it's only a miracle to see the asset bounce at a session's end. Let's go over the short-term time frame to unveil the potentials for tomorrow's session. Welcome back to this Taco Tuesday. This is ARCa, and let's dive into ticker symbol GTII. Let's kill 'em, team. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. Let's go over ticker symbol GTII as it is facing some macroeconomic pressures of unprecedented levels. I am talking about some macro emergency situation here. So China is going through it right now, and also Russia printing its 350 basis point rate hike. That is literally historic and unheard of. So we are going to be facing some pressures to the upside here, specifically in the indices, which are then going to pressure the risk on assets to the downside. So I would really, if you're trading the macros, right? So I would really, not financial advice, I would really consider risk off, right? So let's just evaluate the price action as we go. As you know, I'm already streaming and covering GTII along the indices and other favorite tickers at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So go ahead and come by and hang out, say hello to the very intelligent people there, and we will speak together about the current happenings, right? So let's just go ahead and go over GTII on the 12-hour chart here. I would just like to point out very quickly and efficiently that the EMA 7, the EMA 9, and the SMA 10 are now acting resistance levels for this particular price action, right? So we're at 74 cents right now, facing a very low of a 71.03. So now that level of support was not random, as we did have it drawn from this wedge bottom. So we were looking at a potential support level in case we fail this chop zone from which we've been at for a long time. That level was 70.54 to 73.06. So coming in with about a 95% probability or accuracy, right? So that's looking pretty nice there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chart here and take a look. Well, you know what? I can speculate here a little bit. This is a pretty attractive hammer candle that would be suggesting a potential reversal. If the reversal does happen, then we would be kind of inching to the 65 to 70% of the apex, or to the apex of the triangle, which would be in essence an area for breakout consideration. I'm not saying that that is going to happen. I'm just saying that there could be that pressure. And if we do face an upside, then yeah, maybe here's a huge speculation speaking on logic, right? Not actually factual and not proven to be any type of theory that is presently acted on, right? This is just speculation and just logic, like I said. Okay, so yeah, if we're facing macroeconomic pressures to the downside, that means that the institutions would be in essence facing pressures to their long positions. If they're facing huge pressure to the long positions, which I mean, you can see clearly here that the NDX dropped over a whole point, both the NDX and the SPX, and not even to mention the Dow Jones and the Dow Jones, right? The DJI dropping over a point as well. American Airlines down, JPM down, PayPal down. Literally everything across the board has been facing a macro shift to the downside. Take a look at this. And I'm really speaking of some sectors here that really saw no forgiveness, all red. For example here, consumer non-durables facing an absolute sector-wide fall, right? Go ahead and take a look at this. Energy and minerals as well. Full on red, okay, team, and look at this. I mean, we know that finance is large, and with just the exception of a few assets here, this is all in the red and critically in red. So I would just express some serious caution to your risk on assets right now, as there could be a potential to call a risk off soon. So let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart, GTII, and see what we have. Okay, team. So yeah, this is the macro perspective. We have come back down perfectly to that area of 73.86, which just so happens to be the opening valuation of this current monthly iteration. We came right back down to that monthly, thus retesting the bottom side of this ascending channel yet again. Let's move on to the next chart here that is relevant. I don't think we're going to be looking at that just yet. That is irrelevant as well. Nothing is really showing some promise. But this is the 6-hour volatility versus momentum backtest, and this has essentially been entirely invalidated by entering the critical zone of contraction. This would be a test of contracting from the 80 percentile of expansion. So we would need to be up here for contracting to the downside with a upside pivot on stochastic momentums to validate stochastic momentum. Wow, I can't speak English right now, man. To validate this statistical play to the upside, right? So that's entirely invalidated. We can go ahead and kind of dismiss this backtest for now and see when it would be appropriate to add again. We would need to just pay attention to the volatility and momentum profiles as we move on. No big deal. Okay, so now observing here the fact that we have an upside pivot in the immediate short-term time frame, 30-minute, being right at the resistance of the SMA 14, and the hourly time frame suggesting an upside here to face resistance at that SMA 14, it only tells me that we have a little bit of upside to go before we can face some pressures to the downside. So now facing the pressures to the downside, as you can see here, every single time frame is facing the downside, right? So if that's the case, then we could be facing a pressure down back to that area that we spoke of. Right down here, 70.54 to 73.06 with a focus around 71.03. So let's go ahead and pay attention to those levels come tomorrow. Like I said, definitely come by the live stream because I will be speaking about GTII and VIRI, COSM, FNGR, ASRE, which, by the way, ASRE has the Kramers are short that ticker. So if ASRE is able to make some upside here, then this play here would essentially help, in theory, GTII and FNGR, right? Since literally the Kramers are short this, right? I think it's maybe upwards of 5 million shares short the asset, and you're looking at a very tiny float here. You're looking at 43.57, of which I believe only 25 million is accessible. So yeah, let's just go ahead and practice our discretion, practice risk management here, and definitely take a look at your risk on right now, as there could be pressures to the downside in the broader markets in the coming sessions. Okay, team, so please remember, do not take anything of which I show and iterate within these videos as a form of financial advice, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios. Yeah.